Surah Ad-Dariyat, verse 231. Has the news of Abraham's honored guests reached you? When they entered upon Abraham and said, Peace. Abraham said, Peace, an unfamiliar greeting. He said, A people unknown to me. Then Abraham went to his family and brought a roasted calf. Then he brought it near to them. Will you not eat? He said. Then he felt apprehensive of them. They said, Do not fear, and gave him good tidings of a knowledgeable son. Then his wife approached with a cry, striking her face, and said, A barren old woman. The guest said, Thus has your Lord decreed. Indeed, your Lord is the one who has set laws to prevent injustice and chaos. He is the one who establishes rules or statutes and principles. He is the all-knowing, they said. Upon this, Abraham asked, What is our important task? O messengers, he said. The messengers replied, Indeed, we have been sent from your Lord, hardened stones made of baked clay, marked for those who distort the truth. We have been sent to rain them down upon a sinful community, they said. Upon this, we removed those who were believers from there. However, we found no other house of Muslims there except one, and there we left a sign, an indicator for those who fear a painful punishment. There were also signs in Moses. At one time we sent him to Pharaoh with a clear proof, but Pharaoh turned away with all his power and resources. And it is a magician. Even said, he is a madman supported by hidden forces. Then we seized him and his armies, and cast them into the abundant water, the river. He is one who is blamed and criticized. There are signs and indicators in the name. At one time we sent upon them a wind that left nothing it encountered, turning it into ashes, leaving it endless. There are signs, indicators in Thamud as well. At one time it was said to them, Enjoy yourselves for a specified period. Then they disobeyed the command of their Lord, and the terrifying sound seized them while they were looking on, taking away their senses. So they no longer had any power to recover themselves. Nor were they helped. Previously, we had also brought about change and destruction to the people of Noah. Indeed, they were a community that strayed from the right path. Star 272 and the sky. We have constructed it with power and strength. Without a doubt, we are the expanders of the universe's capacity, and the earth, we have spread it out. Indeed, we are the ones who beautifully prepare the environments where everything forms and grows. And we created pairs of everything, so that you may reflect deeply and take heed. Star 273. So flee to Allah, flee to Allah. Indeed, I am a clear warner to you from Him, and do not create another God alongside Allah. Indeed, I am a clear warner to you from Him. Star 274. Thus, whenever a messenger came to those before them, they certainly said about him, He is a magician, or a madman supported by hidden forces. Did they pass this on to each other as a duty? On the contrary, they are a rebellious people. So turn away from them, you are not to be blamed, and give advice, reminder, because indeed, reminding benefits the believers. Nechim, verso 75. I have created all those who have come and gone, both those you know and those you do not know, solely to worship me. I do not ask them for any provision, nor do I ask them to feed me. Indeed, Allah is the one who provides abundantly. He is the possessor of immense strength. Indeed, for those who associate partners with Allah and act wrongly to their own detriment, there is a share like the share of their companions. So, let them not hasten. Now, woe to the disbelievers, those who knowingly reject the divinity and lordship of Allah, because of the days promised to them. Surah Al-Ghashiyah, Meccan period, verse 276. Has the news of the overwhelming event reached you? There are people who, despite having worked hard and become weary that day, have been humbled and fallen into disgrace. They will be cast into a blazing fire. They will be given drink from a boiling spring. For them there is no food except from a dry thorn that neither nourishes nor satisfies hunger. And there are people who, on that day, will be in bliss. They will be pleased with their efforts. They will be in a high paradise. There, they will not hear any idle talk. There is a flowing spring there. There are elevated couches, set goblets, arranged cushions, and spread carpets. Nečim 277. So, do those who do not believe in resurrection not look at the camels, how they are created? How were they created? And do they not look at the sky? How is it raised? And do they not look at the mountains? How are they erected? And do they not look up at the earth? How is it spread out? Nečim 378. Come on, give advice, remind. Surely you are only a reminder. You are a reminder. You are not a tyrant over them. Nečim 8. However, open your eyes. Whoever turns away and disbelieves, if they knowingly reject Allah's divinity and lordship, then Allah will punish them with the greatest torment. Surely their return is only to us. Then surely their reckoning is only upon us. Surah Al-Kahf, Meccan period. Section 280. All praises are due to Him who has provided a severe warning against punishment, and to give glad tidings to the believers who perform righteous deeds that they will have a beautiful reward, in which they will remain in constant expectation. And to warn those who say, Allah has taken a son, it is for Allah, who has sent down the book to His servant, in which He has made no crookedness. No one else is to be praised. They have no knowledge of Allah having taken a son, nor did their forefathers. How great is the word that comes out of their mouths! They are only telling lies. Then you might destroy yourself with grief over them, if they do not believe in this Quran, because of what they do. 9. Indeed, we have made what is on the earth an adornment for it, so that we may test which of them is best indeed. And indeed, we will make what is on the earth a barren ground, and present to them the example of two men. We gave one of them 2 gardens of grapevines, and we surrounded both gardens with date palms, and we placed crops between them. Both gardens yielded their produce without any shortfall, and we caused a river to flow between them. In addition, the owner of these 2 gardens had other income. Because of this, the man spoke to his friend saying, I am wealthier than you and greater in manpower. And the man entered his garden, wronging himself. I do not think this will ever perish, nor do I think the hour will ever come. Suppose I am returned to my Lord. I will surely find something better than this as a result, he said. His friend spoke to him. Do you disbelieve in the one who created you from dust, then from a drop of fluid, and then made you a complete man? But as for me, He is Allah, my Lord, and I do not associate anyone with my Lord. When you entered your garden, you should have said, as Allah wills. There is no power except with Allah. Whatever Allah wills happens. There is no power except with Allah. If only you had said that. Even though you see me as less in wealth and children than you, perhaps my Lord will give me something better than your garden. He may send calamities from the sky upon yours, and your garden may become a slippery ground. Or its water may sink deep into the earth, and you will not be able to find it again, he said. And the owner of the two gardens was surrounded by his wealth, and it was destroyed. Then he began to wring his hands over what he had spent on his garden. The garden had collapsed onto its trellises. And he, oh, if only I had not associated anything with my Lord. He was saying there was no group to help him besides Allah, and he was not someone who could take revenge or help himself. Here, sovereignty, assistance, protection, and guidance belong only to Allah, the True One. He is the best in rewarding and the best in pursuing. And give them the example of the life of this world. This simple worldly life is like the water we send down from the sky. Due to this water, the plants of the earth have intertwined, and then it becomes debris scattered by the wind. And Allah is the one who has power over everything. Wealth and children are the adornments of the simple worldly life. But the enduring righteous deeds are better in reward with your Lord. And they are better in terms of hope. And on the day when we set the mountains in motion, and you will see the earth laid bare and flat, and we gathered them together. Thus, we did not leave any one of them behind, and they are presented before your Lord in rows. Indeed, you have come to us as we created you the first time. In fact, you falsely believed that we would not appoint a meeting time for you. And the book, the record of deeds, has been placed. You will see the criminals fearful of it, and they will say, woe to us! What kind of book is this that leaves nothing, big or small, uncounted? They will say. And they will find what they did present before them. And your Lord does not wrong anyone. And recite what has been revealed to you from the book of your Lord. Follow it. There is no one who can change the words of your Lord, and you will not find a refuge besides him. And be patient with those who call upon their Lord morning and evening, seeking his pleasure. Do not turn your eyes away from them, desiring the adornments of the worldly life. And do not obey one whose heart we have made heedless of our remembrance, who follows his own desires, and whose affair is in excess. And say, this is the truth from your Lord. So whoever wills, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve. Indeed, we have prepared for the wrongdoers a fire whose walls will surround them completely. And if they ask for rain, they will be showered with water like molten metal that scalds their faces. What a terrible drink it is! Endure, and what a terrible resting place it is. Indeed, those who believe and do righteous deeds, surely we do not let the reward of those who do good be lost. They are the ones who will have the gardens of Eden beneath which rivers flow. There they will be adorned with bracelets of gold, and will wear green garments of fine and thick silk reclining on their thrones. What a beautiful reward, and what a wonderful place to stay. Nećem, on še dvoje. Or did you perhaps think that the companions of the truly great cave and the inscription were indeed among our truly wondrous signs? When those brave young men took refuge in the great cave, they said, "Our Lord, grant us mercy from yourself, and prepare for us guidance in our affair." So we cast a veil over their ears in the great cave for many years. Then we sent the companions of the inscription to make known which of the two groups had better calculated the time they had remained. We will relate to you their important story in truth, the story of the companions of the cave and the inscription. Indeed, they were a few young men who believed in their Lord, and we increased them in guidance. Since you have withdrawn from them and what they worship other than Allah, then seek refuge in the great cave, so that your Lord may spread his mercy for you and prepare for you a favorable outcome in your affair. And when they stood up, "Our Lord is the Lord of the heavens and the earth. We will not call upon any deity other than him. Otherwise, we would have certainly spoken nonsense. These are our people who have taken gods besides Allah. If only they had brought a clear proof for the deities they have taken." We strengthened their hearts when they said, "Who could be more wrong and act against their own interest than the one who fabricates lies against Allah?" And you will see that when research is conducted in accordance with revelation, a beneficial result is achieved. Otherwise, it is a meaningless endeavor. They themselves are in a vast void from it. This is among the signs and indicators of Allah. Whoever Allah has guided, they have indeed found the right path. And whoever Allah has led astray, you will never find a close person to guide them. And if you had seen the companions of the cave, you would have thought they were awake. However, they were asleep, and we turned them to the right and to the left. Their dog was stretching its forelegs at the entrance. If you had truly known their situation, you would have certainly fled from them and been filled with dread. And thus we sent the companions of the inscription so they might inquire among themselves. One of them, a spokesperson, asked, "How long have you stayed?" He said. The others replied, "We have stayed a day or part of a day." Others from the companions of the inscription said, "Your Lord knows best how long you have stayed. Now send one of you with this silver coin to the city to see. Let him bring you food that is the purest. And let him act very discreetly and not let anyone notice you. Surely, if the people of the city prevail over you, they will stone you to death or turn you back to their religion and way of life. In that case, you will never attain salvation eternally." Thus, we made them aware so that they would know that Allah's promise is true and that there is no doubt about the day of resurrection. Remember when they were disputing among themselves about their affairs. They said, "Construct a simple building over them. Their Lord knows them best." Those who prevailed over their affairs said, "We will definitely build a mosque over them, places of conviction, schools that will prove the existence of the hereafter." They will say they are three, and their fourth is their dog. They will say they are five, and their sixth is their dog, throwing stones in the dark, without basis, making wild guesses. They are seven, and their eighth is their dog. And they say they stayed in their great cave for 300 years. And they added 9. Say, your Lord knows best their number. Only a few know them. Therefore do not engage in any argument about them except what is apparent. And do not ask anyone about them anything, and certainly not for anything except what Allah wills. Do not say, I will do it tomorrow. And remember Allah when you forget and say, I hope my Lord will guide me to something closer to the right path. Say Allah knows best how long they stayed. To him belongs the unseen of the heavens and the earth, the unheard, the unfelt, the past and the future. How well he sees, how well he hears. They have no helper, guide, or protector besides him. Allah does not share his sovereignty with anyone. Naim, Filshamsa 3. And remember, when we said to the natural forces, bow down and submit to Adam, except for Iblis, who was among the jinn, all of them bowed down and submitted. Iblis was one of the unseen beings, made of energy. Then he defied the command of his Lord. Now do you take him and his progeny as helpers, guides, and protectors besides me, even though they are your enemies? What a terrible exchange it is for those who do wrong by associating partners to their own detriment. I did not make them witnesses to the creation of the heavens and the earth, nor to their own creation. And I have never taken the misleaders as helpers. And on that day, Allah will say, call upon my partners whom you claimed. Then they called upon them, but they did not respond to them. And we have placed a barrier of fire between them. And the sinners saw the fire, and were convinced that they would fall into it. And they could not find any place to escape to. And indeed, we have explained in detail every kind of example for people in this Quran. Yet man is, more than anything, prone to dispute. And when the right path, when the book and the messenger came to them, what prevented people from believing and seeking forgiveness from their Lord for their sins was only that the practices related to the former peoples had not come to them, that they were not immediately destroyed, or that the punishment was deferred to the hereafter. And we send the messengers only as bearers of good news and as warners. The disbelievers, those who knowingly reject the divinity and lordship of Allah, also strive to nullify the truth with falsehood, to abolish it. And they mocked our signs and the warnings they were given. And who could be more wrong, more self-harming than the one who is reminded with the signs of their Lord, given advice, yet turns away from them, forgets what their hands have sent forth, abandons, disregards, and pays no attention. Indeed, we have placed veils over their hearts to prevent them from understanding the Quran, and a heaviness in their ears. Even if you call them to the right path, they will never be guided to it in this state. Nevertheless, your merciful Lord is very forgiving. If your merciful Lord were to seize them immediately for their sins, he would certainly hasten the punishment for them. Instead, they have an appointed time promised to them. They will never find a refuge from it. And these are the cities we destroyed when they wronged themselves by associating partners, bringing about their own ruin. We had appointed a specific time for their destruction and transformation. Surah Al-Kahf, verse 24. And once Moses said to his young companion, I will not stop until I reach the junction of the two seas, or I will continue for years. Upon reaching the place where the two knowledgeable individuals gathered, both of them left behind their troubles and difficulties. At that time, the distress and trouble disappeared with the help of the knowledgeable person. When they passed in this manner, Moses said to the young man, Bring us our morning meal. He said, Indeed, we have become weary from this journey. To the young man, Did you see? Have you ever thought? When we took refuge at the rock, I truly found relief from distress and trouble. My selfishness definitely prevented me from saying it. He said, the distress and trouble astonishingly disappeared within the knowledgeable person. Moses said, this is what we were looking for. They immediately retraced their steps and went back. Then they found a servant among our servants to whom we had given mercy from us and had taught knowledge from our side. Moses said, may I follow you, so that you may teach me some of what you have been taught about the right path. He said, the servant, endowed with knowledge and mercy, said, surely you will not be able to bear patiently with me. And how can you be patient about what you do not comprehend? He said. Moses said, you will find me, if Allah wills, patient, and I will not disobey you in any matter. The servant endowed with knowledge and mercy said, then if you follow me, do not ask me about anything, until I mention it to you as a reminder. Then the two of them set out walking. When they boarded the ship, the servant endowed with knowledge and mercy caused defects in the ship. Moses, to drown those inside in the water, you have certainly done something astonishing. The servant endowed with knowledge and mercy, did I not say that you would not be able to have patience with me? He said. Moses said, do not hold me accountable for what I forgot, and do not make my task difficult for me. They continued on their way. Eventually they encountered a young man. The servant endowed with knowledge and mercy killed him. Moses said, have you killed a pure soul, without it being in retaliation for another soul? You have certainly done something very incomprehensible. The servant endowed with knowledge and mercy said, did I not say to you that you would never be able to have patience with me? He said. Moses said, if I ask you about anything after this, then do not keep company with me. He said, I will not be upset if you dismiss me. Then they continued on their way. Eventually, they reached a village and asked its people for food. But the villagers refused to host them. Then they found a wall that was about to collapse. The servant, endowed with knowledge and mercy, set it upright. Moses said, if you had wished, you could have certainly taken a fee for this. The servant endowed with knowledge and mercy said, this is the parting between you and me. Now I will inform you of the meanings of the things you could not bear patiently. As for the incident with the ship, it belonged to some poor people working at sea. So I wanted to make it defective for that reason. Beyond them, there was a king who seized every good and sound ship. As for the young man, his parents were believers. So we feared that he would lead his parents to rebellion and disbelief, knowingly rejecting Allah's divinity and lordship. Then we wished that their Lord would give them, in place of him, someone better in purity and closer in mercy. As for the wall, it belonged to two orphan boys in the city, and beneath it was a treasure for them. Their father was a righteous man, so your Lord intended as a mercy from him that they should reach maturity and extract their treasure. And I did not do the wall-straightening work on my own accord. This is the initial meaning of the things you could not bear patiently. Netim, 95. And they ask you about the two possessors of the era. Say, I will recite to you a reminder from it. Indeed, we established power for the two possessors of the era on earth and gave them a means for everything. Then he followed a means. Eventually, When he reached the place where the revelation set, he found it setting in a muddy spring. There, divine principles had been removed from life. And beside it, he found a community. We said Odul Karnain. Either punish them or treat them with kindness. He said, whoever commits wrong by associating partners, acting to their own detriment, we will surely punish them. Then they will be returned to their Lord. Then he will punish them with an unseen punishment. But whoever believes and does righteous deeds fit, for them is the best reward. And we will speak to them from our command, that which is easy. Then the one with 2 epochs followed a path. Eventually, we reached the place where the revelation was born. The revelation that it dawns upon a community. He found so much so that we had made a barrier for them with knowledge that was not revealed. Thus it is. And we had encompassed what was with him in terms of knowledge. Then the one with 2 epochs followed a path. Eventually, when he reached between the 2 agreements, he found a community, the Jews of Khaybar, who understood almost nothing of the words of the societies of Medina and Mecca. The uncomprehending community, the Jews of Khaybar, said, "O owner of the 2 epochs, surely the raiders and their commander, Muhammad and his army, are corrupting these lands. They do not understand agriculture. They are ruining the land. So would it be acceptable if we paid you a tax on the condition that you make a document between us and them?" The one with 2 epochs said, "The provisions, my lord, has placed me in are better. Come on, help me with strength so that I can make a very strong agreement, a document between you and them. Bring me the proposal text you have prepared with your keen intellect." In the end, when the goal was equalized, he said, "Prepare the contract." Finally, when the contract is prepared, bring it, and I will sign it, he said. He no longer understands words. That society could not muster the strength to overcome the firmly made contract. They also could not muster the strength to break it. The 2 era owners said, "This firmly made contract is a mercy from my Lord. When the promise of your Lord comes, he will level it to the ground. The promise of your Lord is true." And on the day of judgment we have left those who associate partners in waves, clashing with one another. The trumpet has been blown. Thus we have gathered all those who associate partners together. And on that day we will expand hell for the disbelievers, those who knowingly reject Allah's divinity and lordship, whose eyes are veiled from my signs, and who are unable to listen to the revelation. So, do those disbelievers, those who knowingly reject Allah's divinity and lordship, think that they can take some of my subordinates as helpers, guides, or protective allies? Indeed, we have prepared hell as a banquet for the disbelievers, those who knowingly reject Allah's divinity and lordship. Say, shall we inform you of those who are the greatest losers in terms of their deeds? They are those whose efforts in this world have gone astray, while they think they are producing something beautiful. They are the ones who knowingly rejected the signs of their Lord and the meeting with him, and did not believe. Therefore all their deeds have come to nothing. On the day of judgment, we will not assign any weight to them, nor will we give them any value. Their recompense is hell, because they disbelieved, knowingly rejected Allah's divinity and their Lord, and mocked my signs and messengers. Indeed, those who have believed and done righteous deeds, these are the ones for whom the gardens of Firdaus have been prepared as a gift, where they will abide eternally. They will never wish to leave from there. Say, if the sea were ink for the words of my Lord, the sea would be exhausted before the words of my Lord were finished, even if we brought the like of it as a supplement. Say, I am only a human being like you. It has been revealed to me that your God is only one God. Therefore, whoever hopes to meet their Lord, let them do righteous deeds and not associate anyone in the worship of their Lord. Surah An-Nahl, Meccan period, verse 287. The command of Allah will certainly come, so do not hasten it. Allah is free from what they associate with him out, and is exalted. Allah sends down his signs to whomever he wills among his servants, as a unique task. With the Spirit, indeed there is no God but me. So warn them to seek refuge in my protection. He sends it down with his command. Allah created the heavens and the earth with truth. He is exalted above what they associate with him. Allah created man from a drop of fluid, and suddenly he becomes a clear adversary. He created the animals. In them there are things to keep you warm and many benefits. And you eat some of them. And there is beauty for you in them when you bring them home in the evening, and when you release them in the morning. And the animals, they carry your loads to a land you could not reach except with great difficulty and exhaustion. Indeed, your Lord is certainly very kind, very merciful. And Allah created horses for you to ride, and as adornment, He created mules and donkeys. He also creates things you do not know. The right path is only due to Allah. There is also a crooked path, and if Allah willed, He would have guided you all to the right path. He sent down water from the sky for you. Your drinks come from it. The trees and plants you graze your animals on also come from it. With water, Allah grows crops, olives, date palms, grapes, and all kinds of fruits for you. Indeed, in this, there are certainly signs for a people who reflect deeply. And Allah has subjected the night, the day, the sun, and the moon to your command. He created them with features for your benefit. All the stars have also submitted to His command. Indeed, in this, there are signs for a people who use their intellect. He has also presented to you the things on earth that He created in various colors, for your service. Indeed, in this, there is certainly a sign for a people who take heed. And He made the sea subject to you, so that you may eat fresh meat from it, and extract ornaments that you wear. He subjected the sea to you, so that you may seek sustenance from His bounties, and give thanks for the blessings bestowed upon you. You see the ships cleaving through the water in the sea. And Allah made the earth a spread for you, firm and stable, mountains, rivers, and paths so that you may find the right way. And He left many other signs, and they find their way by the stars and the verses of the Quran in groups. So, is the Creator Allah, like the so-called gods who cannot create? Will you not then think, and if you were to count the blessings of Allah, you could not enumerate them? Indeed, Allah is the one who greatly covers His servants' sins, does not punish them, and is abundant in forgiveness. He is the possessor of vast mercy. And Allah knows what you conceal and what you reveal. Nečim, vyslopil jsem, and those they invoke, besides Allah, create nothing. They themselves are created, they are dead. not alive, and they do not know when they will be resurrected. Your God is one God. Now those who do not believe in the hereafter, their hearts strive not to recognize, and they are those who believe themselves to be great. There is no doubt that Allah knows what they conceal and what they reveal. Indeed, Allah does not love those who consider themselves great. And what has your Lord sent down to them? When it is said, they say, on the day of resurrection, to fully bear their own sins, and for leading others astray due to their ignorance, they said it is the tales of the ancients, so that they may bear a portion of the sins of those they misled. Behold, how evil is what they bear. Indeed, those before them plotted, but Allah struck at their foundations. Then the roof collapsed upon them from above, and punishment came to them from where they did not perceive. Then on the day of resurrection, Allah will disgrace them. And where are my partners against whom you had enmity? He will say, those who have been given knowledge will say, indeed today, disgrace, humiliation, and evil are upon the disbelievers, those who knowingly reject Allah's divinity and lordship. Those who knowingly reject Allah's divinity and lordship have wronged themselves. They are the ones whom the angels remind of what they have done in the past and what they failed to do. Then they submit, we were not committing any evil. On the contrary, indeed Allah is well aware of what you are doing. Then it is said, enter the gates of hell to abide therein forever. How terrible is the abode of those who are arrogant. And when it is said to those who have come under the protection of Allah, what has your Lord sent down? They say, goodness. For those who beautify and improve in this world, there is goodness and beauty. The hereafter, however, is certainly better. And how beautiful is the abode of those who have come under the protection of Allah, the gardens of Eden. They will enter there. Rivers flow beneath it. There they have whatever they wish for. Thus does Allah reward those who have come under His protection. Those who are under the protection of Allah, they are the ones who the angels make them comfortable and remind them of what they did in the past and what they failed to do. Peace be upon you. Enter as a reward for what you have done. They say, enter paradise. Nitim Dusnaishe. Are they waiting for anything other than the coming of natural forces or the command of their Lord? Those before them did the same. And Allah did not wrong them, but they wronged themselves by associating partners with Him. Mistakenly, they acted to their own detriment. Therefore, in the end, the punishment for their deeds befell them, and what they used to mock surrounded them. And those who associate partners with Allah said, if Allah had willed, neither we nor our forefathers would have worshipped anything besides Him, nor would we have declared anything forbidden besides what He has, nor would we have taken sanctities, they said. Those before them did the same. What is there upon the messengers except clear and open communication? And indeed, we sent a messenger to every nation, saying, worship Allah and avoid false deities. Then Allah guided some of these nations to the right path, while misguidance became justified for others. Now travel through the earth and see how the end of those who denied was. Even if you strive for them to be on the right path, Allah does not guide those He has led astray, and they have no helpers. And the disbelievers swore by Allah with their strongest oaths that Allah will not resurrect the dead. No, Allah will resurrect them as a true promise He has taken upon Himself regarding the matter they disputed, to reveal them, and to declare that those who conceal the truth are indeed the liars. But most people do not know. When we intend for something, our only word to it is, that we say to it, is what we say, and it immediately comes into being. Nečim 221. And those who emigrated for the sake of Allah, after being wronged, we will surely settle them in this world in a good place, those who have been patient and entrusted the outcome of their affairs to their Lord. The reward of the hereafter is even greater. If only they knew. And before you, we sent only mature men to whom we revealed, as messengers with clear proofs and written documents. If you do not know, ask those who have knowledge of the Torah and the Gospel. We have also given you that advice. We revealed the Quran to you so that you may clarify what has been sent down to them, and so that they may reflect deeply. So, do those who plot evil schemes secretly feel secure that Allah will not cause the earth to swallow them, or that punishment will not come upon them from where they do not perceive, or that He will not seize them while they are going about and they cannot escape? Or are they secure that He will not seize them gradually with fear? Indeed, without a doubt, your Lord is certainly very compassionate, very merciful. Have they not seen the things Allah has created, how their shadows turn from right to left, prostrating to Allah in humility? Have they not thought about these things at all? And all living beings in the heavens and the earth, as well as natural forces, submit to Allah without arrogance. They fear their Lord above them and do what they are commanded. Nečim 2. And Allah said, do not take two gods. He is only one God, so be devoted only to me. Everything in the heavens and the earth is also only His. The religion is always His as well. Yet, are you seeking protection from others besides Allah? And whatever good you have, it is from Allah. Then when harm touches you, you immediately seek refuge only in Him. Then, when we remove the harm from you, a group among you associates others with their Lord to deny what we have given them, to be ungrateful for our gifts. Go ahead and enjoy, but soon you will know. And those who associate partners with Allah assign a portion of what we have provided them to things they do not know. By Allah, you will surely be questioned about the fabrications you have been inventing. And they attribute daughters to Allah. Allah is exalted above this. For themselves they desire sons. And when one of them is given the news of a daughter, his face darkens with anger and he is filled with grief. He hides himself from his people because of the bad news he has been given. Should he keep his daughter with him despite her humiliation and degradation, or should he leave her in the ground, bury her? Behold, the judgment they make. Their customs are so evil, and they assign to Allah what they themselves dislike. And their tongues falsely claim that the best belongs to them. Without a doubt, there is only fire for them, and they will be pushed forward. For those who do not believe in the hereafter, there is the same evil. The highest example is Allah. He is the most supreme, the most powerful, the most honorable, the one who cannot be defeated, the absolute victor. The best or lawmaker, the one who best prevents corruption, the one who is firm. And if Allah were to question and punish people for their wrongdoings, He would not leave a single living creature, big or small, on the surface of the earth. But, however, He postpones them until a specified time. And when their appointed time comes, they can neither be delayed by an hour nor brought forward. By Allah, we certainly sent messengers to various communities before you, and Satan made their deeds appear attractive to them. That Satan is their protector and guide today, and for them there is a painful punishment. And we have sent down the Quran to you only so that you may clarify for them what they have differed about, and as a guide and mercy for a people who will believe